What's up, everyone? And this is Next Level Thinking. What's up, everyone? It's another episode of Next Level Thinking, where we always keep people motivated to take that next step and take it to the next level. Today, I have a special guest by the name of
Nikki Berry.
And I'm going to let her go ahead and introduce yourself. So you have the floor from here.
Awesome. Everyone, I'm just excited about this show. Again, I am Nikki Berry. I am a singer, songwriter of gospel and Christian music. I just love God and I love people. I've been here in the Houston area over 20 years and I love it. So Houston is home for me. And my music has set out to just encourage and inspire. To lead people to God, but also to uplift people as they walk this daily walk every day.
And that's what I love to hear. Loving how you keep the energy up and you're putting God first, because, that's like important.
Yes, it is.
So, with you saying that, I got to go ahead and ask this question. Were you raised in a Christian home? Did this all start at a younger age of you just like singing in the choir?
Yes, indeed. So, actually, I started singing when I was about 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, you got an early jump. Early jump.
Early start, yes. And I tell you, one of my mentors, her name is Bonnie Wilrich, and she was amazing. And you know how when you find some of those people that just really take time to pour into kids because they see something in them?
Yeah, that's
what she did for me.
Yeah, those are people that.
Years old,
those are the people that make the biggest impact in your life. Go ahead.
Yes, indeed. But she actually took time and cultivated my voice and my singing and put me up there to lead songs and would just train me. And it just grew from there. And I really know in my heart, if it had not been for her doing God's will, I would not have had such a love for music and singing that I do. But I've been singing a long time.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that brings you back to old saying, you have people that make it up there to the top, but they don't always do it by themselves. There's someone that pretty much had an impact in their life. And just like you just said, she helped, mold your voice, just help push you, take it to the next level so you can become, as your career pretty much builds up and blossoms from there.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, I got to ask this one now. You remember the first song that you sung?
Yes, I do. And I actually just love it every time I watch the Tina Turner movie, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like that was me, because it was This Little Light of Mine.
Okay.
And Chris, I'm going to tell you this really quick. I love the song, and I was so young that they said, well, we're just going to let her lead the first part of it. And then they had an older lady, and they would let the older lady lead the rest of it, the tag part and all that stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
And so after a while, I would sing my part, and then I would go into singing her part, and they looked around and said, okay, just let her sing the whole thing.
It was basically like, she got it.
Yes. This little light of mine.
Yep, and you let your little light shine.
Okay.
So, how's the journey so far? Because we pretty much just found out, as you just said, this all started from the church. So, what's the journey after that? After church, how did it go from there?
Well, Chris, I'm going to tell you, you must really be a man of God as well, because when you use that word journey, that means something special to me.
Yes.
So I'm going to share this with you, because there's a journey that everyone will be able to actually see and follow. The title of the album that's coming out is Restoration, but there's a book that is going to go with that album that's called The Journey to Restoration. And the journey has not been easy.
Of course.
And I believe any journey that we're on, if we expect it to be easy, we are just, fooling ourselves. But I believe through the journey, I have learned so many things. I have grown up in God. I have been led closer to Him, to really trust Him. Because through the journey, sometimes I'm like, okay, is this really for me? Should I be, even going this way? They have so many singers and so many, writers, why do they need me? And then God had to really show me on my journey that, Nikki, it has nothing to do with you. It's not about you at all. I'm trying to use you to do what I need to do for my people. So you can choose to be used or not, but it's going to get done. And when I realized that, I said, wow, God, I am yours.
And I am yours. I like how you put that together, because it is a truth. It's like used as a vessel to pretty much get the message out to the masses. And like, anything good is not easy. Of course, you're going to go through your trials and tribulations, but, just like riding a bicycle, you're going to fall off every once in a while, but you're going to get right back up. And then you learn, like, okay, I couldn't ride my bicycle like this, so let me try it this way. You may fall off, like, okay, that didn't work, so let me try something else. So while you're going through these trials and tribulations, you're actually learning lessons. And if we take that same analogy and put it towards life, that's what the journey's all about, is maturing, growing, and making mistakes, but you're learning lessons from your mistakes so you can move forward. And as you move forward, the people that are watching you are learning, and you're just becoming that huge vessel so other people are inspired by what you're doing, your actions.
That is exactly right, because even though you're on that bike and you're falling down and you're getting up, you're still moving forward. You're still getting closer to the destination. When you get there, you're going to have a little bumps and bruises, but when you get there, you're not even going to be thinking about that stuff anymore.
Exactly.
So that was good. I like that.
Yeah. And then I think I'm gonna throw this one. So what do you think about fear? Do you think this is like the most common problem that a lot of people have before they can actually reach their next goal?
Definitely, yes. And I know that because I have fear as well. And it was only through God's word and through just teachings and, sermons, and that's why I say, some people say, oh, well, I'm not into church, and it's like, good. Don't be in the church. Be into God's word, wherever you get that word, until you can find that church home that you feel like fits you. Be into God's word, because the fear is not of God. And when I learned that I am really being contrary to God's will by me living in fear, because fear is not of God and fear is not His will for us, I just really had to pray more and more, because I was like, oh my gosh, like I just feel like I don't need to be doing anything. Well, that's what the enemy wants us to feel like. He wants us to have so much fear that we do nothing, that we just, stop in our tracks and do nothing. And I said, no way am I going to do that, because I don't want to answer to God one day and stand before Him and He says, Nikki, why didn't you do anything? And I I was afraid. Afraid of what? I've given you all power. I am all. Whom shall I fear?
Yeah.
So that is what really helps me, but it is real and we have to face it, and I believe we just got to pull each other out of it.
And to add on to that, I've also heard from previous leaders that God did not give us a spirit of fear. So where is this coming from? And it really might put you into perspectives like that is true. So why am I worried when I have everything in my hands? I just got to execute and just keep moving forward. And the main thing is it revolves around His faith.
Yes.
Believing in the impossible and knowing that it is going to be possible. I think that's the biggest challenge for a lot of people, is because they can't actually see it physically in front of them. They have a hard time of believing it's true. Fear starts to creep up, and they even sometimes doubt yourself. And the last thing you want to do is start beginning to doubt yourself, because that's like the main engine component. And if you start down, yeah, it is. Because if you lose it within yourself, how is everybody else going to be encouraged to even push you further if you don't even believe in yourself?
Right.
Yes.
That is so right, because sometimes people can even see more in us than we see in ourselves. And that is something we have to fight through. And what you said is, trusting and having that faith. Where is our faith? If we have fear on this side and doubt on this side, just constantly battling with us, then we have to question how strong is our faith. And it's okay if you're in that place, because I was there as well. But then I realized God wants me to have more faith in Him.
Yes.
So as I begin to build my faith and begin to say, God, I trust you in whatever state I'm in, whatever's going on, I have to find a way to trust that it's going to work out for my good. Because, see, sometimes we can say these things and repeat these verses and we say them, but do we really believe them? Do we walk in them? Because what I found out was the enemy is okay with us knowing all the scriptures. He's even okay with us saying them. But when we really begin to have faith and believe them and walk in them expecting, then he has a problem with us, because he goes, uh-oh, they're activating that word now.
And the key thing is taking action and executing on it. Because just like I like how you put everything together, because you can read and all that, but until you start actually putting those things to action, that's when you start moving forward. But here's the trick thing that a lot of people don't realize is, like, once you start taking action, that's when really all the real obstacles start coming on, because now you start I can feel it. Yes. I felt that way over here. You're like, oh yes. Yes. It's like nothing was going wrong when you were staying still, but as soon as you want to start taking steps forward, that's when all the obstacles started coming on.
Yes, indeed, Chris. And I'm gonna tell you, it's true, and we have to just get wiser. And when I use the term "grow up in God," because that's what I feel like I have done, and I'm still doing. But as we grow up in God, the obstacles and the challenges and the struggles, they don't hit us as hard. They don't take us down for as long, and that's when you know that you have real growth in God, because what used to just take you down, where you couldn't function, doesn't really affect you that bad anymore. And you can pull yourself out of it and you say, this is real growth in God.
Exactly. And then I also want to throw into this, like, I'm a big fan of Steve Harvey, back in the Steve Harvey show and all that, but one of the things that really still, like, touches to me is, like, on one of his shows, he's just said it simply: you got to jump. You have to jump. Like until you jump, you may scrap yourself all on them rocks on the way down, but eventually your wings will come open. But that's not going to happen until you jump.
Yes, sir. And that's true, because I have been writing music since about 2008. Didn't do anything with it. Kind of started, stopped. Still singing at church, still leading worship and all of that. But just, wouldn't move forward with the gift that God had given me in the form of writing. And in 2016, it was probably November. I remember it was 6 weeks left in 2016. And it was just a real pressing on me from messages and word about, what are you going to do with the time you have left? What are you going to do? Are you ever going to, act on those dreams? Are you ever going to, move forward? And I was like, okay, God, I'm listening. And I jumped. And I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go into the studio and record at least one song this year. Now, I had 6 weeks left. I said, I'm going to do it. And everybody around me, my family was like, okay, she done went, crazy. How you going to do that? Like, you don't know anybody that has a studio. You don't have any, how are you going to do that? I said, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. And it seems like as soon as I said that, God began to just put so many things in place, and doors opening, and favor. And, I was meeting this person and that person, and ended up connecting with Mr. Eric Carrington. And I've been, working with him in his studio, producing all the music and the recording, and not only did I do one song, but I did three.
Oh man.
And I said, God, I know this is your will, because your word says you will go above and beyond, exceedingly above all I could ever ask or think. And I was just blown away. And I said, I'm not stopping. I am not stopping, because I know this is God's will.
Yep, and that's exactly. And I also want to key on to this is like I feel like a lot of times a lot of people don't take action because they're worried about what their friends may say, their coworkers, or how they're gonna feel. Like what's my pastor, or it's like all these things just start like as soon as you want to take that jump, you start doubting yourself.
Right.
You're worrying about what other people are saying when you should just do it. And lastly,
Right.
I like how you basically said like I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna figure this out. Like I don't know how, but by me taking this jump, there's no turning back. So we're gonna go ahead and try to figure out how to do this. And I want to go ahead and
Right.
tell you like, are you familiar with Daymond John?
I don't think so.
Daymond John is actually he is on the show of Shark Tank.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, maker
yes.
of FUBU. Well, I'm actually
Yes.
see now I've
Yes,
seen
it is.
it. So like in his book, I actually got a chance to meet him at one of his book signings. But in his book, in the earlier pages, he mentioned like the exact same thing, that you're gonna be put in situations where you're like, oh man, I don't know how to do this, but you got to figure it out. It's like
Right.
you're not everybody's gonna give you an instruction manual of how to do it step by step. You just gotta figure out how to do it and just make it happen.
That is exactly right. And that's all I am doing right now, and that's what I'm walking in. I actually love what you said about, what do you do when other people don't believe in you, or, speak other things against, all the things that you're trying to do. And one thing that we have to do is we have to value God's word above the word of others. Because nobody knows the dreams and the vision and the purpose that God has shown us except for us.
And I'm glad that you
So, yeah.
I'm glad you hit on that, because I was just about to say it. I was about to add on to that, because no one knows your vision but you. No one knows your purpose but you. And they're not going to understand your vision, and that's okay. But that's up for you, yourself, and God.
Amen.
So with that said, like, what kind of words would you give, like, I guess, to the youth or the people watching you to encourage them to take that jump?
I would say, first, believe in you. Believe in you like nobody's business. Know that you can do all of those things that was in your heart and in your belly as a child. Whatever those dreams were, whatever those passions were, you can still do those things no matter what your age is, no matter what you've been through. It's not too late for you. If you're still breathing, you still have time, because God's time is not our time. So God can move at his own pace, and he can do things suddenly. God can fast forward us to where he wants us, to be. He's just waiting on you. So take those steps, walk by faith, live this life that God has given you. No more just getting up in the morning, going to work, paying bills, getting up, going to work, paying bills. Actually seek God's word and will for your life, to live this life the way he created you to, for his purpose and his will. And when we do that, you'll bless so many other people. You'll inspire so many other people and encourage them to do the same. So abundant blessings to you from Nikki Berry.
Oh man, that's awesome. Drops mic. But I like everything that you said on that, especially how you keyed on like get outside the cycle, because too many people are stuck in the cycle of just, okay, I'm just gonna wake up, go to work just to pay the bills, put food here, go to sleep. wake up, go to work, pay. Like, no, you have. Of course, those are things that are needed and necessary, but you have to live life. Push yourself, outside of your comfort zone. Oh yeah, and why I'm said that, like, so many people are so comfortable, and they fail to realize that is their biggest enemy. Once you start getting outside your comfort zone, that's when really things start really kicking in, because you're pushing yourself to actually achieve something even higher. It's just like working out. Like, when you're working out, you're straining and things like that. But like throughout the weeks, as they come in, your muscles start to build and it becomes a little easier, and now you got to add even more weight and stress it again. So it's all part of the building process.
Exactly. And our comfort zone should constantly be changing, because I believe sometimes we can push ourselves, we can get in the right mindset, and we can push ourselves out of our comfort zone, and we can do great things, and then we stop. And then we get comfortable in that new zone. No, continue to expand your comfort zone. Continue to push out of your comfort zone. And as we're moving and as we're growing, our comfort zone should constantly be changing.
Exactly. So with that said, where can they find you? Where's you on the social media website? Go ahead and let the audience know so I can keep following up.
Yes, I am. So everywhere, social media, website, everything is Nikki Berry Music, and that's NIKKIBERRYMUSIC. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And then www.nikkiberrymusic.com is my website. And you can download the music from anywhere. I have 3 singles out right now. On iTunes, Google Play, Amazon. You can also listen on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. And the album, Chris, will be coming out this summer, so stay tuned for that. I'm so excited. You're going to have 10 awesome songs that God has just blessed me with, and I cannot wait to encourage and inspire the world.
Awesome. So go ahead and out there and support your girl. And she gave you all the information, so don't be like, oh, I didn't know that she was on the social media. Nah, she gave it plain and simple. I'm goofy.
Yes.
But with that said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Again, this is Next Level Thinking. Chris Holm as your host, trying to motivate you, inspire, and we're going to keep putting great people on to encourage you. Again, my guest is by the name of
Nikki Berry.
And we're out. Peace and much love.
Bye-bye.